Oh, here we go. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your good old boy JR coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. As always, it is our final episode of this journey called the 2023 NFL Mock Draft. As always, the man at the bottom corner over there has been Brandon for every single episode for this season. Brandon, thank you so much again for tuning with us. Um, these two gentlemen right here at the top pod next to me, I have Jimmy. If you saw the second episode of the Houston Texans, you would know that who he is already. Houston native, big Houston Texans fan. And if you were with us last season, a big supporter of the show at the bottom pod right here, Big Mike, Green Bay Packer edit, big supporter of the show, and he's graciously enough his presence to join us. Now we have one more guy coming in, but he's going to join us on Instagram Live. So if you're not on that show, you can catch him there as well. John, how you doing today? Oh, I think I lost him already. No. Oh,
Oh,
don't
no,
be shy
good.
now, folks.
I'm doing
So
good.
somebody say something.
I'm doing good.
I,
I'm doing good.
I can't say anything. Don't be shy now, gentlemen.
Let's say it like this. I think we're all doing better than Ryan Garcia right now. Let's just put it like that.
Good one.
We're all doing better than Ryan Garcia. This is killer room. This is in the room right there. I think we're all doing better than Ryan Garcia right now. So let's
my
just end it like that.
Yeah.
Good one.
Last I checked, I still have ribs, man. So I'm good. Like last I checked, my ribs are still working fine. You know, they're just buried in fat, but they're in there somewhere. They're good. Now, basically, this is how it's going to work for everybody at home that is going to watch this episode later, and how if people that are tuning in right now, this is going to work. Gentlemen, that day they're each going to have in random determined. Only going to have 3. That's already been determined. So it's totally random. Now, here are basically the rules. No traits, because we don't have a crystal ball like that. Number 2, we can't do that. Number 2, it's not what you're reading. It's not what you're hearing. It's what would you do if you're the general manager franchise. Forget the mock drafts you've read. Forget the rumors you're hearing. Forget the clippings that you're. It's what if you are in that position. What would you do with that franchise? So that's how it'll work. Now, gentlemen, before I did begin, did we have any questions at this time?
Nope.
I'm good.
All right, then. So, with that being said, let's get this draft going. So, the person that is going to select first for the Carolina Panthers. Jim will be right next to me. You have been gracious to get the number 1 pick for the Carolina Panthers. So let's all remember how the Panthers got here. Let's all remember it. They were number 9. They trade up number 1. They're going made this decision at the combine. So obviously we know what they're thinking, but remember, this is what you would do if you're the general manager, Jimmy, okay? So Jimmy, with that being said, you're on the clock. Here we go. What name is the general manager of the Carolina Panthers going to read? What's he going to say?
I wish we had the sound effects. How does it go? The do do do. Yeah.
I wish I had
On a very low budget.
we're on a very low budget, man.
We gotta make this shit with our mouth.
All right. I'm going C.J. Stroud with the number 1 pick.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm taking C.J. Stroud.
Going with C.J. Stroud at pick number 1. Okay. Okay.
The
Here we
reason
go.
why I say that,
Jimmy, the $1 million question. There it is.
the reason why I say I'm gonna take C.J. is because the quarterback coach, the quarterback room, the offensive guys that they have, they're set up to have a guy that wants to be standing in the pocket, standing tall in the pocket, and they can deliver the football. And to me, Bryce is my number 1 quarterback, but CJ, the number 1 guy, and to me should be Carolina's guy.
Okay. So CJ Stroud is on his way to Carolina. So there it is. Look, I got no problem with this. No problem with this. CJ Stroud. It's either one or the other for Carolina at this point. I think that's the consensus right now. It's one or the other. To wait till Thursday to see who it is, really. So now, the person, Jimmy, that is going to be picking for your team in this upcoming draft is the man that just joined us on Instagram Live. Timo, congratulations, man. You've been awarded pick number 2, man. You are on the clock, sir. You tell me. Uh-oh. I think he's here. Yep.
That didn't sound good.
1 second. I think. Uh-oh. Timo, can you hear me? Fine, man. It's perfectly fine. So, like I was saying, you're awarded the number 2 pick. You are picking for Houston. Now, remember, this is what you would do. CJ Stroud's already gone. So, you're Houston. You're on the clock. Who are you selecting? I think he said Bryce, but I want to make sure. Like I said, it's a little difficult sometimes. Let me see here. All right. We'll wait for that. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Huh. I wonder what happened there. All right. We'll wait for Timo to get himself situated. I don't know what's going on. He's usually pretty good. He's usually pretty good at this, but we'll wait for Timo to get back and everything. So basically, I'll explain to you how the next picks are going to go while we get Timo back situated. So Brandon, you're going to get number 3 for Arizona.
Yeah.
I am going to get the gracious enough to pick. I'm going to get the gracious pick enough to pick for the Indianapolis Colts.
So lucky.
Michael, guess what? You get Seattle's pick at number 5.
Fair enough.
Good enough? And then we'll just start all over again. Jimmy, Timo, Brandon, me, Michael. That's pretty much how it's going to go, man. That's pretty much how it's going to go. So while we get Timo back up and everything, I want to know, Jimmy, the rumors heading in Houston right now that the Houston Texans really love Will Anderson. They really love Will Anderson. So I got to ask you, is that the pick? Is that the pick? Is that number 2?
No.
So God help me.
If Bryce Young is on the board, it's going to be Bryce. Nick Caserio has been really watching Bryce since last year. He went down there to watch Jameson Williams, and from what we all can gather last year, he fell in love with Bryce last year. That's why they didn't show up to none of the pro days this year. So Bryce is on the board like he is right now. It's going to be Bryce. They're going to run that card up. The Will Levis thing is, I think it's smoke screen. I think that's to try their hardest to see if the Colts is willing to trade some draft capital to move up to 2. Because if Bryce is gone at 1, and from what we're hearing, Will Levis is the guy for the Colts, then you trade down and you still get CJ, and you pick up another first next year and then possibly a second this year or a second and a third this year, and you kind of hinder the Colts as far as the draft part goes. And then
Right.
I heard DeForest Buckner is on the trading block, and that could be the key right there for two. So if DeForest Buckner is traded,
Right.
we don't get the first round pick next year because DeForest Buckner is probably worth the first round pick. So then you get the pick swap this year, you get a second this year, possibly a third next year, and probably some later round pick from what I'm hearing.
You're up next. You're up next.
So I like I say,
Okay. Well, we got Timo back. So
Okay.
Timo, like I was saying. Oops. Okay. All right, Timo, like I was saying, man, welcome back. You're awarded the Houston Texans pick with pick number 2. CJ Stroud is off the board. You're the manager of the Houston Texans. What are you doing?
Oh, well, that they don't get they basically out with me. I'm going quarterback. So you said Stroud already.
Yep, CJ's in Carolina.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go Bryce Young.
Okay, so for the people that couldn't hear, Timo went Bryce Young, obviously, back out of Alabama. So that's yeah, I'm not buying the whole thing, Anderson thing one bit. Listen, I love him, but you got other issues right now, man. Damn, I'll go with David Moore here. I'd be damned. I'd be damned. Yeah, I'd be damned. So there it is. So CJ, Bryce, out. Brandon, you're up, man. Pick number 3, the Arizona Cardinals. A very, very serious pick here. Want to move up to your spot. You got all the talent in your hands. General manager, man. Leave there.
Oh, that's easy. Will Anderson. It's a very simple pick. That is the easiest pick to make.
You don't want to think about it?
Let me think about it. Yeah, Will Anderson. Let's get this out the way.
No.
Yeah, Will Anderson. Yeah, I think I still
All
can't
right,
to the
cool. I
conclusion
mean,
of Will
so
Anderson.
you just like the line ran to that fucking like you just we're good.
Listen, with Houston and Carolina, they got to figure it out. Carolina got the number 1 pick. That's great. You still don't know who the fuck your quarterback is. Houston is literally waiting for what Carolina does. If Carolina picks Bryce Young, he just said they're trading the second pick. So if that is the case, Will Anderson falls right into Arizona. Let's just get that out the way. He falls right into Arizona's hands.
Okay.
Why do anything stupid? Why? Like, I guess you could trade out the 3rd pick, but why the fuck would you do that? That's kind of stupid. I don't understand that shit. They must be the only team I can see trading up to get that is Washington or Tennessee.
All right.
They better be giving you Derrick goddamn Henry if you're Tennessee. I want Derrick goddamn Henry. If you ain't talking Derrick Henry, we ain't talking about picks.
That's fair. That's totally fair. All right. So it's my turn. I got the number 4 pick. And, I think this is going to be very fun. Let's like this. Indianapolis looked like the heavy favorites last year. It's the Texans. And it was kind of their division moves. And they still lost it.
They lost that shit way before anybody else could sell it.
I know they're going at this quarterback Carolina.
They lost
I
that shit
know
way.
Indianapolis has been on this carousel ride at quarterback for a minute now. They've been at this quarterback carousel. But you know what? I'm going to take the hits now. And I'll look for my franchise guy later.
Mm-mm.
So that being said, with the 4th pick, I'm taking Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle out of Georgia. To pair up, like you said, Like you said, if DeForest Buckner goes, you got your replacement ready to go. That's right. Hey, Timo, listen, man. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. I'm going to take the hits now. I'll get my franchise quarterback and a deeper quarterback draft class next year.
Why you sound like Houston?
Give me Jalen Carter.
Why you sound like Houston? I don't know what happened. You sound like Houston. You're sounding like Houston. You're just gonna roll with the defensive player just because they ain't got the right quarterback for you.
Hey, he's not in your division. Listen, he's not in your division.
Just because this ain't the
Perfectly
right
fine.
quarterback for you, just gonna roll like Houston. Okay.
Hey, I'm gonna ask y'all a question real quick.
We're gonna take the hits now.
If this was to happen and Jalen Carter went forward, is the off-field issues is not an issue?
No. At that point, I don't think it would be an issue.
Okay, so why wouldn't Arizona take him over Will Anderson? Because to me, Jalen Carter is hands down the best defensive player if we don't have the off-field issues.
I don't know. Ask Brandon that. He went number 3.
I think
He went number 3.
I think
He just fell to me at 4. If you fell to me at 4, I'm going there too.
I think regardless of what we believe, if it's Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, I think one of them going to Arizona. I can see one of them falling past the forward pick. I don't know what the hell Juan is thinking. Jalen Carter, and by the way, that is literally you just saying you're trading DeForest Buckner. That is literally the option. Like you're literally saying I'm trading him. Because there's no way in hell he's staying just to be a mentor. That's ridiculous.
I'm just saying, why not have cause havoc, man? I'm just saying, I'm thinking about my defense. I'm trying to build around Shaquille Leonard, man. I'm just trying to give
defense
a
gonna be
piece to
so
win
good
to help me build. I'll get my franchise
Your
guy
defense gonna be
later.
great. Your defense gonna be really great until they can't stop a person. Until the offense cannot score a damn touchdown. It's gonna be real great until they can't score a touchdown. They doing pick sixes and lose the game 14-0.
I'm willing to take the hits now and get Caleb Williams next year.
If he's there.
Big if.
So Michael, that leaves you at number 5, my man. You're next.
JR, why you gotta do this to me, man?
First rounder. How can I do this to you? Why? Were you hoping for Jalen to fall?
I was.
No, I'm not gonna get that. You're a guest. I'm not easy on you. I'm not gonna make this easy on you, man. Come on, man.
Well, I did have my eyes on Jalen Carter. I mean, who wouldn't? If we're going off of like all the expert mock drafts out there, they have, Indianapolis either getting Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, whichever one, leaving Jalen Carter down to number 5 for Seattle. Now, that being said, this is completely different. So, my pick is actually kind of torn. Seattle's in a position where, yes, they can go ahead and draft a quarterback, like a project quarterback, like an Anthony Richardson, because they have Geno Smith there, at least for a year, maybe 2. But their issues on defense are pretty well known. They weren't able to stop the run at all last year. They were getting shredded up the gut. So that's why I was saying Jalen Carter would have been a perfect fit. But that's neither here nor there. He's not in this draft anymore. Good luck to him over in Indy. So with that being said, at number 5, the Seattle Seahawks will take Devin Witherspoon, cornerback, Illinois. Yes, it's a little high for him. I am going to admit that. But
No, it ain't.
He would be a perfect fit next to what the heck is the name?
Wooten.
The name that escapes me.
Tariq Wooten.
There you go, Tariq Wooten. There you go. why not make a strength even better? Because at number 5, to go up and get what's his name, Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle from Pitt, that's way too high for him. And with the fact that they have Geno Smith still in town for the next 2 to 3 years, they can wait on a quarterback as well. So let's fortify a strength that they have, which is their secondary, and draft heavy there, at least at the very top. So Devin Witherspoon, welcome to Seattle.
Oof, that'd be scary.
I don't like the
It'll be
defense.
messed up for the
I don't
NFC
like
West, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't like that secondary. I don't like that secondary at all.
I'm not messing with that. Hell no, I'm messing with that. Hell
I don't like
no.
that secondary at
No,
all.
and
Nope.
if you watch the show, me and Brandon, we both had Seattle taking a corner with their second one. And we like the physicality of Devin Witherspoon too. And basically, if you're from Illinois, we know you know how to tackle. I mean, if you see the secondary of Illinois this year, if you see the tape, those boys know how to tackle, man. They some fast, hungry dudes that just see ball, get ball. So Devin Witherspoon to Seattle would be perfect, especially like you with the combination of him and Woodley now. They have to shore up the defensive line a little bit more, but I think they can do it. I think they can address that later down the road. I like the pick. So that's the first 5. So Jimmy, you're back on the clock with the ever so hope Detroit Lions. All right, Jimmy. They need to hit this pick, man. This is the draft that Detroit needs in order to I know, Michael, but this is the draft they need to propel themselves into possibly winning the division next year. So, Jimmy, help the line give them.
Well, so from what I know about the Lions, I know they're a hungry team. They love physicality. They love people that don't care about themselves. They just want to make everybody else better. That's kind of what the coach preaches over there. He loves that lion-like mentality, right? He wants to see ball, get ball. Devin Witherspoon was the my favorite as far as possibly being a pick for number 6. But the Lions' biggest problem, if I'm the GM and I sit there and I watch their games, we was 32nd in run defense. We was worse than the Houston Texans. Every game that we played, we had to score close to 40 points to even come close to winning. We have to find a way to stop the run and get the pass rusher. Aiden Hutchinson is going to get double teamed. This year, he's going to get triple teamed. So with that being said, with this luxury pick, I'm finna go find me somebody that can do that. And I'm so thankful that you passed on him. Tyree Wilson is going number 6 to my Detroit Lions.
That was crazy.
The unicorn at the combine, man.
Did
you see that arm? Did you see that reach? You see that arm length, man? It's a hell of a spring span, man.
And
that's a scary defense. I'm scared of that defense more than I was the defense I created.
Yeah, and see, and the thing is with that, Aiden Hutchinson is pretty much an outside guy. Tyree Wilson can play both. You can really use him like Chris Jones.
Yes.
When I first looked at Tyree Wilson, I went and looked at the stats because that's what kind of we all do, look at the stats. And I was down on him just by looking at the stats because I think if I remember correct, he only had 7 sacks in 2 seasons. I believe both seasons he had 7 sacks, so he never had over 10. But the thing is that he dominates the person in front of him.
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily that he's going to get play, but he's going to create something that stops the ball from getting past him, right? So as long as he dominates the man and he has the physical abilities, you see the arm length, you see the power, you see what they like to say in ESPN, speed to power. The only thing that I don't like about Tyree Wilson that I really want to see from edge rushers is bend. If you can't bend around the corner, for me, that's kind of a hindrance. Tyree Wilson was kind of like my comp for him was Jadeveon Clowney. Really, really good run stopper, really powerful, really strong, good get off. You pair him up on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson, and with the offensive line that he's going to be playing against up there in NFC North, they're going to have some dogs on that defensive line. There's some dogs. And I did think about, I will say this before I let it go. I did think about receiver at this point because Jameson Williams is probably going to be gone for a while. So I really was thinking
6 games.
since I might set up the receiver as far as the draft board concerned. But I had me being the GM, I need to stop whoever's the quarterback in that division.
All right. No, understandable. That's understandable. And listen, I like the concerns about Wilson. Absolutely. But there's always concern about prospect. And I think Brandon says it the best whenever I do talk to him, goes with them. There's always going to be something. People are always going to find something that they don't like about you, so that way they don't have to take you. But I think with Tyree Wilson, I think if you go with Aiden Hutchinson, like you said, he won't necessarily make the play, but he'll do the dirty work so the other 10 around him can make the play. And I think that's what, if you pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson, I think Aiden Hutchinson is going to have a very, very, very best friend in Detroit here coming up soon. And I think Michael's already like panicking of the fact of trying to double team Tyree and Aiden Hutchinson.
My God.
But moving on. But move on to number 7. Timo, you're back on the clock, baby. And guess who you got? You got my team. Viva Las Vegas, baby. The Raiders are now on the
Raiders.
All right, Timo.
Who did he pick?
He picked Tyree Wilson at number 6.
Okay. I mean, for some reason, I like that y'all might what about Los Angeles? Las Vegas might go, with a defensive player. So I'm gonna go corner. I'm gonna go corner, and I'm gonna go with Devin Witherspoon.
Well, no, he's already gone at 5. He's already gone at 5. Yeah, he already went to Seattle, so he's gone. So I'll repeat you the names. I know it's a little tricky with doing both. So it's C. Stroud, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Devin Witherspoon, and Tyree Wilson.
Okay. I'll say Christian Gonzalez.
Good enough for me. I like Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. That is perfectly okay with me. All right. I will do cartwheels if that was the case. I would love a good corner on my roster. Okay. I would be perfectly okay with that. Fine. I'm with that. I'll get back to you on that one, Timo. I'll get back to you on that one, Timo. But for now, I'm perfectly fine with CG. Yeah. Not as physical as Devin Witherspoon. Not as physical. But he does have the traits that you do look for in a corner. He can cover. He's got the fluid hips. A little bit too chancy for me. Sometimes he does take too many chances, but I think that's why, people are kind of enamored with him. But I think if he's able to control all that, I think he could be a solid corner in the NFL. So, Timo, I'll take part for it. I will gladly take Christian Gonzalez back out of Oregon to come to the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm perfectly okay with it.
Hey, I'm going to give you a comp for him. Think about Cromartie when he played with the Jets.
Okay.
Think about Cromartie when he played.
I like that. I like that, baby.
Spot on.
I like that, man. I like that. So here, moving on to number 8. Brandon, it's your favorite team, man. It's your favorite team. The Atlanta Falcons. You know it. It's the Atlanta Falcons. You know it, baby. Here we go. Brandon, I look forward to this every year. How are they going to mess it up this year, man? How are they going to mess it up? Tell me how they're going to mess it up this year.
Oh, I got Atlanta drafting a kicker. Yeah, I got Atlanta drafting a kicker.
Woo!
Oh, that's it. Just like that. Just like that.
There's a kicker. There's a punter, kicker, whatever. Long
Just
snapper.
a
long
strike
snapper.
kicker. All right.
A long snapper. They got a long
Oh,
snapper
my
coming
God.
to Atlanta.
Long snapper. Oh my God. That better be
They call
the
him
best
the-
long
the-
snapper.
They call him the Kyle Pitts of long snappers. I heard he was really good.
He snaps the ball 60 yards with his hand down.
Oh my God.
They say his ceiling. They say his ceiling is amazing. They
All
say
right.
his ceiling is amazing.
They said
Now
it's
Atlanta,
Okay, Brandon,
Atlanta.
for real, who do you got
Oh.
Atlanta taking? You're the general manager. Listen, you're the general manager of Atlanta. You've been criticized by some people that your last 2 first-round draft picks have been shit. You gotta make it worth it. How are you
That's being nice.
gonna turn this for
Shit. That's being nice. That's being fucking nice. All right. For the Atlanta Falcons, I will select Quentin Johnson, wide receiver TCU. I feel like they need a receiver, man. They need a receiver.
Oh,
They need one.
Wow.
And Drake London.
Wow.
Drake London is not it. They need a receiver, and Drake London ain't it. Kyle Pitts ain't even it. That's how bad this shit is. It's bad out there in the line. They need a real weapon. Drake London ain't it. Kyle Pitts ain't it. I know a lot of people saying draft a running back, but what the hell can he do? I'm going receiver, Quentin Johnson, wide receiver TCU.
it's not a bad pick, but it's like you double down instead of going to Philadelphia.
Oh, hold on.
route,
It's
you know,
Atlanta.
play.
Wait a minute.
You're going
It's
to
Atlanta. It's Atlanta. They will fuck up the pick somehow, some way. This is
I
why I
know.
went
I have that.
Quentin Johnson. This is Atlanta. You said think like
Oh,
Atlanta.
man.
I thought like
Yeah,
Atlanta.
it just
Quentin
screams.
Johnson.
Yeah, you really did, man. You really went there. Okay. It
Wow.
kind of gives me that vibe of the Lions of the 2000s. Remember they were
In all
Jones,
fairness,
Calvin
what Quentin Johnson
Johnson.
can actually
the
do,
other kid
Atlanta
from
fucking
Cal.
needs. Like what he can actually do, Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well, Quentin Johnson's off the board, so perfectly fine with me. All right, man. So, with that being said, I'm up. I got Chicago's pick. So, Chicago, not a bad offseason. Not a very bad offseason. They got some draft capital. They signed some good free agents. They're in a good spot in drafting. They're hitting on. They're doing what they can to make this team better. And it looks like they finally found their franchise guy in Justin Fields. I understand, Michael. I know. We'll get to look, I think for Chicago, I think it's very simple. It's very simple. You need to protect your best asset on the team. That is Justin Fields. You need to protect him. Whether it's blocking for him, give him some running lanes, whatever you can do, you got to do it. Now, switch it up. I am going to switch it up. I still think he's one of the better talents. Looking at the grand scheme of things, they need versatility. They need championship posure level. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the offensive man out of Georgia to be the left tackle for the Chicago Bears. There it is. Broderick Jones goes to the Kevin Jenkins moves to the right. You just got to figure out and then maybe you'll give Jones a little bit more time to read the plays, just a little bit more time to give his weapons an option. So I'm going to go Broderick Jones here.
I like the pick. I just I think you got better offensive tackles on board.
I just,
You know,
man, trust me.
I think
I love other. I love with the Georgia whole championship thing. And I'm looking at it. It's like, you know what? When you're a left tackle 2 straight years, you won the national titles in 2 straight years. I'm going to take the benefit of the doubt. I think I know what you're doing. So we're going to go with that.
Mhm.
I'm going to go. Now, at number 10, Michael, you up, man.
fly, Eagles, fly.
You're up, man.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Eagles, man. 1 win. I would say at least 1 play away from probably winning a Super Bowl. You know, maybe the kind of things are different, but it looks like the Eagles are on the up and up. And I always like to remind Brandon that this is originally his pick, but you know,
why would you bring it up
to help
right,
the Eagles so much
right now? Why would you bring it up right now?
Just dig it in even more.
I didn't do nothing. I did nothing.
And this would be perfect
Yeah,
for
you know,
y'all.
you just want to help the Eagles.
Oh my God!
Get back, I guess.
This would have been lovely for the Saints because both.
You know, but it is what it is. So, oh yeah, this would have been great. This would have been beautiful, man. But don't worry, they're back in the game at 29. They got back in the game.
This is torture. Go on.
But they're back. But Michael, you're up, man. You're
All right.
Roseman. You just lost Super Bowl. You need to make sure if you get back there, you actually finish the job this time.
Well, with Philadelphia, you can kind of go 3 ways. They could choose to go either with an offensive lineman to kind of
I
fortify
think we might have lost him.
Uh-oh. Is he frozen? Oh, there he is. He's kind of moving. Hello?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. We hear you.
Oh,
Gotcha. Okay. So Philly could have gone in 3 different ways. They could go, like I said, offensive lineman. A few of those guys on there with Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey, they're essentially year to year now. So it might be time for them to start drafting some offensive linemen to kind of help fortify that once their time comes. 2, they can go on the defensive line as well. You know, Fletcher Cox isn't he's no spring chicken anymore. So they need to look for people up on the inside as well. Or 3, they could fortify
We good.
that very, very, very potent attack that they have already. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. So I'm not really too sure where I can go, but you know what? It's gonna come back to me. I know I'm gonna hear it, but you know what? I'm gonna pull the trigger.
Don't you do it?
Why not?
Don't you do it?
Why not? Why not?
If you say his name,
At number
don't do that.
At number 10, the Philadelphia Eagles will draft. Why are you mad, Brandon? You don't even know yet.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God. Running back, Bijan Robinson. Look.
Yeah.
They had Miles Sanders. They had Miles Sanders. They let him go. Okay. Who did they replace him with? Rashad Penny. The Rashad Penny is like one gust of wind away from being out for the year. You know, other than that, you know, they have Gainwell and they have Boston Scott as well.
Mike, why would you do this? You know me and why I got this problem
So
when he picked him at number 10 earlier. Why would you do this?
It makes sense.
Oh,
It makes
my
sense.
God. So what? It makes
It
sense.
makes
Goddamn
sense.
me.
Hey,
I do not need him. with Bijan Robinson. That is oh, God, no.
Yeah. No,
Oh my goodness.
The pick. I love the pick. When I did the show the first time with Brandon, I had Bijan Robinson going 210, and people were looking at me crazy. You're a great team. This is not even your pick. This is a luxury. Get the most out of it.
Exactly.
Or
You're playing with
not
house
get
money.
the best offensive weapon in the whole draft.
That's disrespectful.
So, yeah.
That's what you get when you play with
I
house
was.
money.
Brandon's crying.
You're disrespecting the football gods, and I don't think they're gonna like it.
Trust me, I have plenty of Eagle friends, and it sickens me. But if I am the GM for the Philadelphia Eagles, I am taking them. I'm sorry.
You made this team an all Madden team. Like, it's just ridiculous everywhere on the football field.
Isn't that what they pay me to do if I'm the Philly GM?
I love it. I do it. I do it in a heartbeat. I'm doing it in a heartbeat too. Oh, it's gonna be so great.
Y'all have no respect for defensive coordinators.
Brandon's so pissed. He's like, no, man.
Y'all have no respect for defensive coordinators.
None.
That is so wrong.
None.
We don't have
Zero.
feelings in football. There's no feelings in football. Zero.
You care about feelings?
Huh?
I think it's gonna be amazing.
Tell them to do their jobs if they're defensive coordinators. Figure out a way to stop me.
Care about feelings. Bijan Robinson, walking. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's the kind of chaos I live for. Is Bijan Robinson going to the Eagles? That's the kind of chaos I live for, man.
That's all we're doing. We're stirring the pot.
That's
all we're doing.
Well, here we go. Back to the top of the order. Jimmy, I know you don't like these guys, but I need you to be as cool, calm, and collected as you can. We're picking for the Tennessee Titans, number 11. So what does the future hold for Tennessee at number 11?
This is the team I hate the most. I can't believe I'll be even picking for them.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, way the cookie crumbles, huh? We can't choose what team we want to pick for us. There's only 32 of these jobs, right? So if you got one, you got to get that chance. You got to.
Well, technically, Miami is not a part of this, so 31.
31 or 30 to 40. So,
all right, Jimmy. What is the Tennessee Titans? Who is the future of Tennessee?
The thought process is, I still have Ryan Tannehill.
Oh,
I
God.
still have. I don't want to trade. The receiver that the former GM picked was a bust. So I need a receiver, but I also need an offensive lineman because I had to clean up a lot of stuff, right?
Right.
Should I set myself up or should I take a chance? But I have a coach that's really trying to win now. He's not trying to rebuild. So I'm not going to wait. And I'm not going to take one of these quarterbacks that I think are ifs. I'm going to go ahead and take the best offensive lineman that's on my board. And I'm taking Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, Ohio State.
All right. Nice. Yeah, and look, I like Paris Johnson Jr. Wasn't only he can play right tackle. He got recruited as a right guard. They put him at left guard. They put him at left tackle. The dude can play anywhere minus center. So versatility, it's an A+ for me there. I think he'll fit great with Tennessee. I think he'll be now. That depends if the rumors are true that Derrick Henry is going to get traded. We'll see how that goes. But I think Paris Johnson Jr. coming into Tennessee, I think it's a nice startup. It's a great way to get your offensive line back into the swing of things. And honestly, it's just a great pick. I love this pick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next up on the clock, we have the Houston Texans. Brandon, you're up, my man. You're up, my man. So, Bryce Young is already in Houston.
Yep.
What you got for him? What's the news? What is the good news he's going to get when he lands Houston? But
the good news is he's got to get a receiver. He's going to get Jackson Smith-Najabi, wide receiver, Ohio State University. I'm going the same route. It don't matter which quarterback is there. He's getting picked by Houston. like he's getting picked by Houston. It doesn't matter what quarterback is there. If it's C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, he's gone to Houston. And I don't have no problems with either quarterback because they're going to get him as the receiver, and I think they're going to figure it out. Now the rest of Houston, good fucking luck. I don't know what's going to happen with the Texans. I cannot even tell you. I have no idea. But for right now, you got Bryce Young and Jackson Smith. You're pretty good. I mean, offensively, you look all right. You look decent. And you got Dalton Schultz too. You look decent.
Okay, I like
He
it.
picked Jack.
I like it.
Who did you pick?
He picked JSN, wide receiver. Oh, you like that? Oh, he's like, oh yeah.
That's pretty much been my mock. Either CJ or Bryce, and then the receiver at 12, and preferably JSN. That's my number one receiver in the class. So
I just want to point out, everybody here has literally picked the quarterback for Houston with the second pick, except Houston. So I don't know what the fuck gonna happen Thursday. I have no idea. But clearly we know quarterback is obvious number one, and then you get the receiver. You don't go defense and then receiver. That shit sounds a little stupid, but do your thing, Houston. Do your thing. I did not know that was the Patriots' way, but fuck it.
Nick Caserio, man. Nick Caserio.
Yeah, it's a different animal. Look, so I had the privilege of picking for the New York Jets. Now, will
Aaron
I have
Rodgers.
this pick by the time? Because will I have this pick by the time draft night happens? I don't know. But I'm only working with what I do know right now, which is
Zach
looking at
Wilson.
this Jets team. Is there talented? Is there talent in this team? Absolutely. There's some talent in the team. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson. Now, unfortunately, the running back did suffer a season-ending injury. And honestly, I think he's the catapult to this whole offense. Is there some offensive line news? Absolutely. The problem is we can't really say we don't have a number two because Corey Davis is getting a little bit longer in the tooth now. Elijah Moore, well, it just never worked out. I want to go offensive line here, but I think with the sheriff coming to town, I think you're going to want to get – what's the one reason he was so upset in Green Bay? Not enough weapons. You got to give him weapons. So seeing that Quentin Johnson's gone, thanks, Brandon, and seeing that JSN is gone, thanks, Brandon, I'm going to go with the next available wide receiver here. And I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. Now, not his most impressive outing. Yeah, not his most impressive outing, but I'm not going to just look at just a couple of years ago, he was killing it up in Pitt. So you pair him up with Garrett Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers comes, you got the 1-2. Boom. There you go. Jordan.
That is amazing. That is a great pick. Is Aaron Rodgers actually going to show up to training camp to throw the ball to him to get chemistry?
If not, Zach 1-2 now.
Is Brett Favre Jr. going to be there in
1-2.
training camp to throw the ball to him? Is that what's going to happen? Brett Favre Jr. is going to actually show up to training camp to actually throw the ball to the rookies? Is that what we're saying here? Why is that what's going to happen?
I'm just saying, man. It just be that way. It's just gonna be that way, man.
Yeah.
So there it is. So next up,
I would say I like
Patriots.
Jordan Addison is a slot guy, and you can get Garrett Wilson out of the slot. So that's nice. That's nice.
That's a nice pick if it was the right quarterback coming to the team.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the key. I think that's the key factor, right? I think but next up, we're gonna move it straight along. We're gonna have Mr. Michael here picking for the New England Patriots. We're talking about the Patriot way recently. Kind of a weird year for New England. You know, I guess losing Josh McDaniels really did hurt for the offense, but they got Bill O'Brien now. So I expect to turn around in that offense next year. Is there some things that they need to patch? Absolutely. But we'll see. So, Michael, give Patriot fans some hopes here. What are you doing with that 14th pick? What is Bill Belichick doing with that 14th pick? Manager has no say in this.
Bill ain't got no say in here. Heck no. With the 14th pick, the New England Patriots are going to select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle. He likes building from the trenches. Ooh. This is actually one of the better tackles, one of the better offensive linemen in the draft this year. Why not solidify the line for Mac Jones?
But I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually pretty okay with that. I mean, it is something that they do need. They do need some offensive linemen. We can all tell at the end of the year, the offensive lineman was starting to kind of break down for New England. And I think adding Peter Skoronski to this team, listen, you went offensive lineman last year. You get to limit again. Dallas did it, and it worked out successfully. And I think that if that is the route of New England, I hope that's what they're hoping for too. It's going to take some time, but it's actually a pickup. Peter Skoronski, Western, nice pickup. All right, Michael. Well, you were one pick of yours. Sorry, man. Sorry. However, my man Jimmy here, he's going to pick for you. My man Jimmy pick for you. Jimmy, Packers are up. We don't know what the future is going to be in Green Bay. We don't know what we're looking at. We don't know what we're dealing with. But it is what it is now. So talk to me. Who do you have the Packers at 13?
This is something for me that I've been saying that they really messed up a while ago. I'm pretty sure the guy at the bottom of the screen is not going to like this pick. But I've been saying they've really been messing this up for a while. And they haven't been giving their quarterback anybody to throw to. They don't know what they have in Jordan Love. Well, we don't know. They watched him in practice. They probably love him. So, what is the favorite thing that a quarterback likes? A big body tight end. And with
security
the number
blanket.
15 pick, security
blankets.
With that 15 pick, the Green Bay Packers select Michael Mayer, the Notre Dame tight end.
Damn it. All right. No, I mean, listen, it's great for a Green Bay, but damn it. All right.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm not going to lie to you.
I know a lot of people say they like what's the boy name? Dawson Kincaid. I
Mhm.
think he's more athletic. He's kind of like in the
Kincaid.
Travis.
Okay.
Yeah, he's.
Mhm.
But the thing that scares me is the same thing I say about basketball players. When a basketball player say they have foot or ankle problems, I don't want them. When a football player say they have back problems, I don't want him. That back is for a tight end. All you doing is boxing out, and all you doing is getting hit by big men bigger than me in the back. So, if I really want somebody that security blanket, why not take somebody that I know for sure? Michael Mayer is going to be like this the whole way, right? He's a plus guy at everything: blocking, pass blocking, run blocking, route running, pass catching. He has a good catch radius. Everything's B plus, right? It might not be. Hey, he's a B plus athlete, right? Why not take a guy that you know is going to be steady instead of taking a guy like Kincaid where you think his upside is Travis Kelce?
No, I like Michael Myers. Everything in this film, I always say it about certain players. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and acts like a duck, it's probably a duck. You tight end is like a tight end. He looked the dude. It was meant to be a tight end. God made him specifically to be a tight end in the NFL. And I think whether it is Aaron, whether it is Jordan Love, two big guys in Christian Watson, you got your Romeo Dowds, and then you get Michael Mayer to add to the fold as a security blanket for a guy who's really going to get his first start. That is a perfect way to make sure that this offense can stay afloat. I love the pick. I love it.
I want to hear what the Green Bay Packer fan feels about that one.
Yeah, Michael, how do you feel about that? You're smiling, man.
I agree with you. Man. I like that pick. I like Michael Mayer there at 15. Here, let me rattle off some names for you guys. Tyler Davis, Josiah DeGuara.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the top two tight ends that Green Bay have, and they ain't worth diddly. They were not. They weren't. They didn't do anything. We had Bob Tunyon leave to our nemesis to Chicago, so that left us that left us bare, super bare in the tight end position. So yes, I love that pick, Michael Mayer. I prefer Mayer over Kincaid as well.
Well, you guys could have easily just re-signed Mercedes Lewis, because you need a tight end.
What are you talking about? He's going to New York.
I'm letting y'all know right now. I was a freshman when the dude got drafted into the NFL. I am now 32 and a homeowner now. What the fuck? How is he still in the league? How is that possible? What the hell? How do you do this, my man? I need your secrets of life, man. I need your secrets of life, man. Like, dude, how are you doing this, man?
Have Aaron Rodgers as a teammate.
Yeah, I guess. Shit, man. Okay.
It's called
now,
ayahuasca.
Here we go. This pick, I'm gonna love this pick because it's gonna go to Brandon here. He's been very vocal about this Washington football team these last couple of years of what's he doing? You get your choice now, man. Help Ron Rivera turn this team around. What are you going to give the Washington Commanders?
Well, what I'm going to give Eric Bieniemy.
Oh, my bad. What are you going to give Eric Bieniemy?
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy. Let's be real. It's Eric Bieniemy's team. All right. With the 16th pick, Washington Commanders will select Hayden Hooker, quarterback, Tennessee. Yeah, fall off the chairs. Yes.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Where the hell did that come from?
Yes, Hayden Hooker. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all ears on this one.
Yeah.
I'm all ears.
So over Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, no. Hey man.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes. I
Hey,
can explain
hey,
this.
man. Hey, Brandon. Listen, buddy.
Yeah.
You all right?
Right?
You weren't in that
I'm
fight
good.
yesterday, man. You know
got
that,
the
right?
ayahuasca on you right now?
I can
Hey,
explain
man,
this.
2 days ago.
You want to know why I said this? You want to know?
Okay,
You
hit me,
know?
man. Hit me.
All right.
Hit me, man.
Out of those three SEC quarterbacks, Hayden Hooker had the best fucking season. Did he not? Did he not have the best season? Out of all three of those quarterbacks, did he not have the best season?
I can agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before
did.
his injury,
Yes, he did.
before his injury, he was a Heisman front runner, was he not?
Mm-hmm.
Was he not?
Yes. Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Before his injury, was he not leading Tennessee of all teams to the best fucking college season we had seen since probably LSU? So to me, if I'm going, and by the way, all three of these fucking quarterbacks played each other this year. Hayden Hooker had the better season and outplayed each and every one of them. And for some apparent reason, he is rising up on people's boards. He is rising up on people's boards. So I do feel if he is healthy and he is willing to go, if I am Washington and if I am Eric Bieniemy, I'm going with the most athletic one out of all of them that can also throw the fucking ball. With Anthony Richardson, he's a project. You don't have time in Washington to fuck with a project. You just don't. Ron Rivera's job is literally on the line this fucking season. He cannot sit and wait for somebody to get right. Will Levis, the same. You can't wait till Will Levis possibly be a really good quarterback, which he may not ever be. I'm going with the obvious choice, and that's Hayden Hooker. He's athletic. He can throw down the field, and you have receivers that actually can fit him. I saw Jalen Hyatt with him last year. You telling me Scary Terry and Jahan Dotson with Hayden Hooker ain't going to be a goddamn combination you can't fucking stop in the NFC East of all damn divisions? Give me Hayden Hooker. It's not even a goddamn question. Give me Hayden Hooker.
You know what, man?
I like the pick. I'm not saying that.
I love it.
We like
The only
stats and
thing
statistics.
is, remember, like you said, Ron Rivera doesn't have time. We Hooker time with that injury.
His thing.
Either tell Hendon Hooker, you're the starter immediately when you get healthy.
Here's the thing. I'm Eric Bieniemy.
Because Ron Rivera hung wrong on Sam Howell.
If I'm Eric Bieniemy, I need the closest thing that I might possibly have to a Patrick Mahomes. That ain't Anthony Richardson. That ain't Will Levis. That's Hayden Hooker.
And let me add to that real quick.
Okay.
Everybody keeps saying that they're scared about his ACL, and then they say something about his age, whatever. My thing is that when has 24, 25 years old ever been an issue with any other player? As far as I understood, the NFL loved when they had guys that came in that had a very high mature rate, right? Especially at the quarterback position. Yep. So now all of a sudden the age is a problem. This man is matured all the way. You're not going to have the money issues. You're not going to have the female issues.
Yes.
You're not going to have none of those crazy off the field issues that you're going to have with a younger player. He's dealt with the NIL, so he knows how to deal with money. If you watch any interview with this man talking, you hear the intelligence. You can't go to Tennessee without being smart, and you sure cannot go to Virginia Tech without being smart. So he's highly intelligent. He learned several different playbooks. He can throw. He can run. What is the problem? The problem is that he had the ACL. That's the only problem.
And on top of that, like I said, you're going to an offense of Eric Bieniemy who needs to prove to everybody he can be a head coach that can lead another team with an offense that's already made to fit You got Brian Robinson. You got Antonio Gibson. You got Terry. You got Curtis Samuel. You got Jahan Dotson. To me, I'd rather ride with a guy that, yeah, he might come off of an injury, but at least I know he's mature. He's actually a better quarterback in high-pressure situations than both of those guys put the fucking together that's still on the board. I'd rather ride with that guy way more than Anthony Richardson or Will Levis. If this was earlier in the draft, yeah, I'd probably go with Will Levis or Anthony Richardson just because. But since we're getting later in the draft, you can pass on them and you can keep letting them fall.
And I think also he beat all three of them, right?
And let's be real. Between the Commanders,
I think he beat Bryce. He did beat AR. Did he get hurt before they play AR? I can't remember. But I know for sure he beat Bryce.
He beat Bryce. He beat Bryce.
He beat Bryce. He beat Will. And he beat
AR.
Anthony. And he beat Will. He beat all of them. He beat every single team
beat them
except
all.
Georgia. That's it. That's the only team he didn't beat. Georgia.
Yeah.
But did he get hurt before he played Florida? He was there.
Yeah, he was there. He got injured in the South Carolina.
He was there.
game.
The South.
That was like the second to last game.
Okay.
Now, I think, and he did on like a quarterback of his age got drafted was Brandon Whedon. He was a 28-year-old rookie. He's only 25, so he's going to be older.
Okay.
But like you said,
Okay.
sure, not going to be an issue for this guy. I think he's ready to
Here's
go
the
in
thing.
and go into a franchise. And listen, wouldn't it be an incredible story if this dude did turn the Washington Commanders around? I think that'd be one hell of a story. That'd be one hell of a. So, and I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I like what they're doing. Did everything that they're doing, free agent wise, what they're doing. I think it's going to be fine. The biggest issue for the Steelers the last few seasons, offensive line. And I think what the Steelers are missing is they're really missing staples. You know, they're really missing staples because, you know, when you've had staples like David DeCastro, Alejandro Villanueva, Marquise Pouncey, and those guys, and all of a sudden they go, that's not, you know, that takes time. That kind of takes a minute to replace. And I think with the 15th pick, I think it's a no go with the staple. It's not going to be the sexiest pick, but it's a pick that Pittsburgh. So with the pick, I'm going to go teammate of Hendon Hooker, Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle out of Tennessee. Not the sexiest pick. The Pittsburgh Steelers cannot afford to pass up on another offensive lineman in the first round. They just can't do it. All right, offensive tackle.
Hey, let me tell y'all something about Darnell Wright real quick. People don't know. In Tennessee, you know he did not give up a sack these past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, think about the teams that they played. They played Alabama twice. They played Florida. They played South Carolina, Tennessee, LSU once. This year against Georgia, my bad, he allowed no sacks and no pressures, according to PFF, against the number one ranked defense, against probably the best we ever saw in college football. He gave up no pressures and no sacks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do not know how Pittsburgh can look at this and be like, why don't we want this on our team? You got to go for it. You have to go for it if you're Pittsburgh at this point.
I think
now hitting up to number 18.
I think he's Trent Warford, the guy that went to Tampa Bay a few years ago. Trent Warford, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Mr. Wirfs.
We'll
yeah, Wirfs. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Now, heading up to number 18, Michael, second round pick. And the first one, we gave him Tyree Wilson.
And the
You think
second
go
one,
defense
we're going to
still?
give him a long
They
snapper.
can add an offensive playmaker.
Going to give him a punter.
Oh shit! Oh no! Don't do that.
All right. all jokes aside, so there's a couple players that have been slipping a lot, and I kind of see this as I see this as a spot where one of them can go. It's going to be a quarterback. Jared Goff this year is owed $31 million, and if the Lions were to cut him, they save $15 million, but they still have $15 million left in dead cap. Next year, same amount of money, $31 million. If they were to cut him, he only has a $5 million dead cap hit. The way I see it is they draft their quarterback now at this spot. That way they have Jared Goff for his last year, air quotes. And then that way they can go ahead and plug in the guy they pick up this year. So at number 18, you want to talk about a project quarterback? I'm going to give Anthony Robinson. What is that? No.
The Richardson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Richardson. There you go. Anthony Richardson. Quarterback.
Yes, Anthony
Florida. Richardson. Sorry, going over my notes right now. I mean, the guy's a project. Everybody knows that he's a project coming into the draft. If this is the scenario that were to happen, he has that year to kind of build up and train up and get them to where they need to be, because they have the weapons there. I mean, good Lord, they have weapons all around over there right now. So I think they could go ahead and this would be a good spot for them to take one of the quarterbacks that have been dropping. And that way they can kind of stash them and maybe get them ready for next year or 2024.
Okay.
Love that.
No, I like it.
It's a good pick.
No, I really like. I thought maybe somebody on the defensive line, like, because we did bring up a good point. There were stopping the run, and there was no team that gave up more yards in the air than the Lions last year. And getting Tyree Wilson, that's a great way to stop. I thought for sure maybe we get a corner, to kind of maybe flex it out for them, but it is what it is now. Anthony Richardson, like you said, it's a project. I think we all know this. I think there's no secret.
I think
should he learn behind Goff? This situation for Anthony Richardson, should this be the spot for him? He's gonna help. He have plenty of help. The line will still be intact. And this year it will be intact for next year as well.
I think with Detroit, I think a lot of people will say they had the worst defense up until a point. I think up until a point, Detroit had a really bad defense. But they did come back at some point in the season. And outside of that Carolina game where they just got absolutely fucking ran through, they played pretty good. They played pretty good defense, for most of that time frame.
That was rough. That was a little rough watch.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was a little rough to watch. All right, so now we're going to get into these playoff teams, and some of these playoff teams are in a little bit better shape than we last saw them. Some of them,
not so much.
Not looking too good. And perfect example right here, Jimmy. So we know the dynamics. Tom Brady's gone. Everybody's gone. Baker Mayfield is the nearest. Leonard Fournette is gone. Help them. Help them.
Jimmy trades the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for XFL team.
That's exactly what.
That's how you help them.
Please trade them, please. Can I? Alabama's team instead of. And I'll take Alabama.
Give me Georgia.
Let me get nice. Since I can't wear the orange popsicle uniforms, can we get some kind of John Cena green uniform too? can we just, tear the whole thing up? Yeah, so you can tell I too much care for Tampa Bay. So I'm gonna stick with what I've been saying. With Tampa Bay, this would be with the way the boards feel, this is the perfect time for them to trade out. I would trade out. That would be my number one, because the players that I would really like to pick here are gone, right? But there's one big but. We just traded a guy that was a staple on our offensive line to the Houston Texans. We need somebody that can play tackle maybe next year and guard possibly right now. There's two offensive linemen, two tackles on the board right now that are guaranteed to probably be off the board way before we get to this pick. There is absolutely no way that I can pass on DeJuan Jones, the right tackle from Ohio State. You plug and play right guard. He can play left tackle. He played left tackle when Perry Johnson was hurt. He could play right tackle. That's what he played. And he played guard when he was a freshman. We keep saying C.J. Stroud had the best offensive line in college football. Well, let's go get the guys that protect C.J. and protect the quarterback that was there before him and the quarterback that was there before him. So, DeJuan Jones, welcome to Tampa Bay.
Oof. It's a hell of an adjustment. I like the pick. You could tell right away he was up to every pass drill challenge. He made everybody look silly. He had out of all offensive linemen at the Senior Bowl, and I think that only helped make this case to show that he is ready for the NFL. So I have no problem with this pick whatsoever. Now, Seattle's second first round pick. You're up, my man. So, just to recap, though, you already got Devin Witherspoon to match up with Tariq Woodley. This is Seattle. Now, you're the defender, back on the clock. What name are you going to call?
Okay. What is it, the 20th pick? 19th pick?
20.
20?
This is number 20. Number 20.
Okay. With the 20th pick, Seattle will go Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College. I'm still giving them a receiver, and I'm still giving them Zay Flowers. I just cannot see Tyler Lockett doing what he did last year again with his age. It just ain't. That is not going to last. I just can't see it. I can't. Zay Flowers fits that offense like a Tyler Lockett, but he's younger, quicker, faster. I just feel like if you're Seattle, with the DK Metcalf you still have right now, get him another reliable weapon. Whatever you do with Geno Smith, at least he will have a 1-2 punch at least with clearly a number one running back in Kenneth Walker. That's why I'm going to Zay Flowers from Boston College.
The name of the game is to score touchdowns, right?
30 combo. Yeah.
Man.
Name of the game's in the end zone. And he can do it. Zay can do it. Zay can do it. If you put him in the right position, he can do it. I think he's going to find a perfect home for Seattle. I think he'll find a perfect fit for him, and I think they'll make it work up there with Geno and the. Now, I got the Chargers here at 21. And kind of an interesting team right now.
Oh, Ronick is dead.
Chargers are an interesting team right now. It's Austin Eckler's not happy. It sounded like they were ready to move on from Keenan Allen until he took the cut. They don't like they have a lot of faith in their other situations going on right now, realizing they probably paid way too much money for an aging Khalil Mack, which he still did his job, but it's probably just a little too much money, especially now that he's getting there in age. You got to hope that Joey Bosa stays healthy. And let's face it, the way last time we saw the Chargers, they blew it against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They blew it. They had the game won. Should have won.
Whoa. They did not blow it, Juan. They gave that game to Jacksonville. That is what they did. Don't you make excuses for the Chargers. Don't you do that. You know how I feel about that. Them excuses for the Chargers. Jacksonville beat that ass in the second half, and we're not going to just let that fucking pass. They beat that ass in the second half. Okay, now go ahead.
Now, I'm going to give him a player here. The problem is you look at this Chargers team, you look at the names on the paper, and you think, man, this is such a talented roster. And they got to get this figured out quick. The one thing I think they got the pass rushers, they got the run stuffers, they got the corners, and they got an amazing safety in Derwin James. I think what they're missing, truly, is what majority good defenses, great defenses have. Missing a center fielder. They're missing a true safety to make sure nobody gets past them no more. No, when you saw that Jacksonville game, I don't know how it happened. These guys were getting behind the safeties really, really quick, and nobody was there to cover for them. So it might be a little too high, but I think the Chargers have no choice here but to take Brian Branch, the safety out of Alabama here, and give him a true safety to kind of control the backbone of this defense.
I know how Jacksonville receivers got past the safeties. Brandon Staley. That's how they got past them.
They don't have any.
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley. Son of a gun. Right.
Staley. That's,
I
boy knows how to call a defense.
It would be.
Don't Brandon Staley know how to call a defense? Don't you think you know how to call a defense when you ain't got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, man, the floor? Fucking dream team defense. Don't you know how to call a defense?
No comment. Michael, you're next.
You see him 2 years. You see him 2 times a year. You know damn well he know how to call a defense.
No comment.
Josh Jacobs.
Michael, you're next. You are Baltimore Ravens. So the Ravens are sort of this little weird dilemma. I don't know if you guys haven't heard or anything, or if you haven't seen the news coming out of the NFL. Lamar Jackson's not getting paid. He's under the franchise tag, and if you wouldn't believe it, he's not participating in that. If you want to believe that, so the Ravens are a little bit of a dilemma, Michael. So the fans really need a first-round knockout to get their hopes up. So what do you got for these fans? What do you have for the faithful in Baltimore? What do you have for that flock up in Baltimore?
A prayer.
Oh, Baltimore. You are screwed. No, sorry, I'm the GM. I'm supposed to be the GM. Sorry. No, Baltimore, trust me. Have faith in me. I can build us. Don't worry.
Lamar Jackson's contract. That's what you're going to give him.
That's the first thing. In a perfect world, Lamar is signed. He gets his contract that he wants. We would have a healthy Mark Andrews, a healthy OBJ now in town, a healthy J.K. Dobbins too. So the offense.
That's the metaverse. We need reality. That's metaverse. We need.
Well, you know what? We're in the metaverse right now. We're in the metaverse right now. Everything is all hunky dory in Baltimore. So with Baltimore. For the last 20 plus years, their calling card has always been defense, regardless. Whether they draft a cornerback, whether they draft a linebacker, whether they draft anybody on the D line, whether it's an end or a tackle, they build their defense through the draft. And this year, I see no difference. So I'm going to give them Kalijah Kancey, defensive tackle.
Why would you do that? That's
Get me excited. That'll get
Why
me
would you
excited
do
right there.
why would you do that? Like,
Kalijah Kancey.
I mean, remember, Brad, this is the same guy that gave the Eagles.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he has no love. He has no love for defense and now offense. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, they gave
There's
Brian
no
Robinson.
love. Just Joe Burrow. Joe Cool. You just shit. My God, that's bad.
Kalijah Kancey.
Hey, listen, man. I mean, we joke about this, Brandon. We really do.
Go
We
ahead.
joke about it that the last 2 years, Joe Burrow
That is
been
true.
running the Ravens. Like, I mean, we've been about it. Like, he's like Joe Burrow just figures it out. So, I mean, Kalijah Kancey would not be a bad idea to at least contain. Like, dude.
That's a good, true. But
The way
here's the
they
thing.
see it is they have to go through Deshaun Watson twice a year. They have to go through Joe Burrow twice a year. They have to go, not to mention the running backs that Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh has. Building through the trenches, through the middle,
Yeah.
that's just what they need to do. They need to make sure that they're able to get somebody that can still pressure the quarterback, but also still be able to help defend the run.
If they could get to Joe Burrow, that's great. If they can't, their secondary is screwed.
Trash. Trash secondary.
Secondary is screwed.
So yeah, Kalijah Kancey, put me down.
I like the pick. I like the pick. I like it because of it's the whole. Like I said, everybody's always going to find something to know something. It goes back to the tape, and Kalijah Kancey's tape is just as good as anybody's out there. I like the pick. I like it. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Jim, you're back on the clock, my friend, with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, even though they got double-digit wins under head coach Kevin O'Connell, some people are calling it a fluke. Some people are calling it they got lucky. Both be true at the same time. How do we keep this ride going for the Vikings, Jimmy? How does this keep going?
Well, I have a dilemma here. My head coach says he wants offense, but myself, the GM, I feel like we need to go defense. My head coach says he doesn't know if he believes in Kirk Cousins, if we're gonna want to sign him for another guaranteed contract, or
I totally agree.
and he sees a quarterback on the board. He also said, hey, we just lost Adam Thielen. We need a receiver. Oh, by the way, Devin Cook just came in the office and said he wanted a contract. I don't know if y'all heard about that yet. That just kind of Twitter news that just came out. I want to say maybe. So, yeah, now we have two players that want money, plus we have to play Jefferson next year. So we need to go offense. But we lost a lot on defense. Patrick Peterson, we lost some safeties. We lost some big-time linebackers that we had. They didn't lose them this year, but they lost them last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the pass rush is still suspect, right? But in this division,
right,
with Aaron Rodgers and the other guys that we have over there, if Aaron Rodgers still in Green Bay, we have to stop the pass. Chicago just got DJ Moore. We have to have somebody to guard him. And the number one corner is on the board. and he's still sitting there. I'm not passing up on Joey Porter Jr.
Bingo.
Joey Porter Jr.
Bingo.
I can't.
I like him.
Again, I understand Will Levis is on the board, and in reality, on Thursday night, Will Levis probably won't be on the board. But if he is, and I am the GM, as I said, I've been saying this on Twitter, Facebook, all my pages. I do not believe in Will Levis. So why would I take him for a team first round? I just don't believe in him. So I'm not that I'm gonna give them a player to where they can continue to build.
Now, here's the thing I like about Joey Porter Jr. The funny thing I laugh at people about draft prospects, especially corners. Well, the lack of interceptions is there. Like it's a lack of interceptions that makes me think it's not there. I'm like, you want to know why there's a lack of interceptions? Because motherfuckers don't want to try his. That's why there's a lack of interceptions. Motherfuckers don't want to try. When you get an individual by the way, Penn State, historical college, all right? Birds have come through there. We got a Joey Porter Jr. that can say, hey, I'll take this part of the field. You 10 better figure it out because I got my shit taken down. Y'all better figure it out. That's a sign of a good corner, man. So, yeah, Minnesota will gladly love to have him. Will gladly love to have him. So I love this pick. I love it, especially Green. That's a beautiful pick.
You know what I would say? I've been so high on Joey Porter, I never said any negative about him, but I will give this one negative. I watched some tape on CJ last night, and I watched the Penn State-Ohio State game, and I did notice Joey Porter did not guard Marvin Harrison the whole game. The whole game, he was not matched up with him. So is that scheme-wise, with Penn State, do they feel like, hey, let's play two people over the top instead of just putting one person on them? Because really, like you said, Joey Porter locked down the whole other side of the field. CJ never threw that way. Whatever receiver that was being guarded by Joey Porter, he did not throw that way. He continuously went the other direction. So, is that a knock on him? Yeah, probably. The lack of interceptions, yes, he's a little bit handsy. But what cornerback coming out of college is not handsy? I'd rather go with the traits, and his daddy, to me, in my eyes, is a Hall of Fame type linebacker. Even if he's not going to get in, there's no way that the way Joey Porter was, that he's not teaching his son to be the best, that he can be.
Exactly. I got no problem with this pick. So with that being said, Brandon, you have the honor of being next on the clock. The Jacksonville Jaguars are up, my friend. So we know what it is. Listen, the Jaguars, we could say the same thing about them, the same thing we said about the Vikings earlier. They got lucky. We don't know. Was it we've had this conversation before? Was it really the players stepping up, or was it Peterson, a really great coach, which we all kind of know he is? So here you go, Brandon. Pick number 24. What are the Jacksonville Jaguars doing?
All right. Jacksonville Jaguars will select Dalton Kincaid, tight end, Utah. I don't trust Evan Ingram. I said this when I picked him for Jacksonville when we were doing the preview show. I don't trust Evan Ingram. And Doug Peterson loves tight ends. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. Yeah, he loves tight ends. I think Dalton Kincaid, with his athleticism and his route running, he's going to love him. That's why I got him going to Jacksonville.
Yeah, no. Like we said, he rated the number 2 tight end in this year's draft. Obviously, with Michael Mayer being number 1. It's not a bad pickup. And I think the only difference is he doesn't have to do everything right away. So he can kind of take his time to get into that situational.
Mm-hmm.
He can get into his time, and then he could be a really key piece of the contributor. So I think this is a pick that you like right now, and you're going to love even more down the road when he finally gets into it.
And also
for Jacksonville.
And also with the receivers that they now have with like Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and also now Calvin Ridley being back too, it's gonna be a lot of speed on that field. So a lot of secondary players gonna be on that field trying to stop that, which means a lot of underneath passes for Dalton Kincaid to get going. So I just feel like that's where he fits.
I like it. I really do. So I have the honor of Giant. Guys, let me tell you, this is not easy.
Will Levis.
This is not easy. No, it's not Will Levis. It's not Will Levis. It's not Will Levis. Like, I want people to understand because I'm with Jimmy.
Let me tell you about what it was.
Because I saw you posted it on your page. You saw my comment. I am one of those with you. It would not shock me if Will Levis does fall to the second one freaking bit. I see it. I could see it. It's just starting to get to a point where it's like, hey, I think I realize maybe quarterback's not that important anymore. And not have more questions than answers. So with the Giants, it's a little bit tricky though. So the Giants have made the commitment that Daniel Jones is the man. He's the man. They have made that commitment. Brian Daboll and the general manager of the Giants have made the commitment that Daniel Jones is the man in New York. They are going to have to pay. They are going to pay Saquon Barkley under the tag. Here, issue that I have lying with though, it's not the defense because I think the defense for the Giants is good. I think the offensive line for the Giants got better this offseason. My only thing is, it's who's your wide receiver? You can't keep waiting on Sterling Shepard anymore. Richie James is gone. You traded away Kadarius Toney, and Kenny Golladay is about as stiff as a mall mannequin. So I don't know if that's what has another wide receiver. So, that's good, my man. I don't think so. So I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna go wide receiver, and I'm grateful that he fell to the Giants. And if I'm the Giants general manager, I say, thank God, we take him now. Letter. So with this year's with the 25th pick, I am going to go Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. There's not much more you could say about other than he's just a perfectly well balanced wide receiver. He's like Thanos when he showed Gamora the little knife. Everything's in perfect balance. Well, that's what it is. Everything's perfect balance. Change the direction, fine. Route running, fine. His separation, fine. It's a perfect balance. Hands, fine. He's good. And I think he would actually be a benefit to this Giants team. So I'm going to put Jalen Hyatt here, wide receiver out of Tennessee.
Juan, I have a question. What's that offense going to look like without Saquon Barkley? What's that offense going to look like without Saquon?
It's going to look terrible, my man. But in the meantime, guy for the future, you could draft one right now.
That you not drafted for the future because your future's Daniel Jones, so that's clearly your future's in a goddamn dumpster fire. Clearly, because you're betting on Daniel fucking Jones to get you somewhere.
That is still so messed up to say.
I see Daniel Jones throwing for 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
That is still so messed up to say. There it is.
I see some bad days.
15 touchdowns. Yeah. And Brad Hundley made the Pro Bowl for throwing 2 whoopity-doo.
I can see.
All right.
I can literally see the Giants calling the Jets. I can literally see the Giants calling the Jets mid-season, be like, "Hey, Zach Wilson, is he really that bad? Like, is he like bad? Like, is he unfixable bad? Like, can we like see what happens if we get him?" It's like, I can see the Giants calling the Jets. You can't see the Giants calling the Jets and be like, "So Zach Wilson, is he really that bad? Like bad, like unfixable bad? Like we got like
fixed mechanics
bad? Like,
Like what are we talking about? Like how
Yeah,
bad like how down the list are we going here?
like on a
So yeah,
on
I'm
a
gonna go
scale.
Jalen Hyatt
Ryan
here,
Lee,
wide receiver of
like
Tennessee.
Ryan Lee, Ryan Mallett, or Ryan Tannehill. Like where we at the Ryans? Like Ryan Lee, Ryan Mallett, or Ryan Tannehill. Where we at? Can we fix it? Like, can we get enough out of it?
Where
Like,
are we? Where are we in the scale of Ryan or Zach Wilson? Now,
it's pretty much gonna
next
be like
up,
the scale of Ryans. Like,
Michael. Hey, Michael, congratulations, man. You get the honor to pick for America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. That's right. All right. So Jerry Jones is right next to you, man. The spirit of Jerry Jones is right next to you. He's whispering, what are the Dallas Cowboys going to do here? Because they're sort of a little bit of a pickle, too. No, they're
Will
kind
Levis.
of in a weird state of mind right now.
Will Levis.
Well, this dude's awful.
Dallas. What are we gonna do with the Cowboys, huh? First off, I got Jerry
I
Jones
just want to
probably in my
remind
ear.
you, your head
What's up?
coach. I just want to remind you, your head coach, Mike McCarthy, his season last year ended with Ezekiel Elliott being the center. Go do with that what you will, man. Do with that as what you will.
All right, with the 27th.
Go ahead.
I got it, guys. I got it.
Go
Watch
ahead,
this.
Steve. You're gonna do it.
Watch this. Here we go. With the 27th pick of this year's draft, the Dallas Cowboys draft Kirby Smart, coach, Georgia.
That's a great pick.
Great pick. God damn, that's amazing.
My
I can see
God.
That's a good pick. That's the best pick they ever had.
That's
Talk about a
hair,
franchise
boy.
changer.
That's
Talk about a franchise changer. Boy.
a changer, man.
this guy Smart from Georgia. Dog.
He really got me for a second too. I'm like,
He's a dog.
It's got that dog in it.
unfortunately, we have been informed his name is not. In the draft. We are gonna.
They're like, we could trade, we could draft coaches. Holy
Unfortunately.
shit.
Okay,
Hey,
well,
you can trade him. I'm sure you can
Okay.
draft him too. Shit.
the Cowboys. What are we gonna do with them? It's like you don't know if they're that good or if they're that bad, and if it's just you don't-
They're America's team.
I mean, not my America.
Perfect name for them, right? I mean, America's team. You don't know if they're that good. You don't know if they're that bad. They're just there.
Not a-
They're just there. You don't know.
So
Damn.
I think at this point, this far down in the draft, it's more BPA. His BPA territory. So with the 20, what are we at? 26.
A kicker.
26.
I have them taking, Nolan Smith, linebacker, Georgia.
Okay. I like
if you know,
Just
you don't know what to say. It's just this is like Nolan Smith is another. It's like Michael Parsons light. He can pass rush. He can defend side to side a little bit. He's got the speed enough to cover the side to side. He can help with the run defense as well. Is he as good as Michael Parsons? No, God no. But he shows some flashes where he can be like Michael Parsons on the other side and be all right.
I was about to have a heart attack over there. What? He could be what? Who? He could be what?
Oh,
In no way am I saying that
What?
he's anywhere near Michael
What?
Parsons. But
Well, I was like, who? He could be who?
is there another Michael Parsons that I don't know about? Is there another Michael I don't know? What's going on, man?
it's Michael Parsons.
What's going
It's
on,
with the
man?
it's with the Z at the end instead of an S.
Oh, we're gonna be like Atlanta. See, you could have got another Michael Parsons. See that?
Oh, that Michael Parsons.
Fucked up that whole situation.
Got it. Okay, of course. Yeah, that's a whole different name. That's a whole different ball game. All right.
The bottom line is that he can help
I actually
out.
would help Nolan. Yeah, no. I think what really helped him though individually was that comments that I think he was just like the star of the show in his group, and I think that really catapulted him this to. And it happens every year. You have a great combine, you move up. You have a great Senior Bowl, you're gonna move up. You know, and I think this is a case of can he play football? Yeah, he could play football, absolutely. How's he gonna fit with Dallas? Should he go there? That's to be seen. But you're gonna get a football player. And at this point of the draft, BPA. And you're not gonna get anything better than that. So good pick, Greg.
Dan Quinn will figure it out.
That brings us to
Mhm. That is very true.
yeah. Oh, Dan Quinn will definitely figure it. If you give Nolan,
Quinn will
if you
definitely figure
give Quinn Nolan Smith, he will definitely figure it out. Don't you worry. Yeah, don't you worry. Now that brings us to the Buffalo Bills. Jimmy of trying to get this team in the right direction, man. They are now the third man in a 3 race to get to the Super Bowl in the AFC. Back then, it was just Patrick Mahomes and but now Joe Burrow, sit down. I'm here. I'm him. Or as Patrick Mahomes like to say, I'm here. I'm here.
I'm here. I'm here.
I'm here. Like Kermit
I'm
the
here.
Frog. But anyway, like Kermit the Frog's ass over there. But listen, Buffalo needs something. I'm here. But Buffalo needs something, man. They need something. They need a spark. How can we help them get to that goal that they so desperately need?
Well, we're gonna go ahead and take Will Levis. Nah, I'm just joking. Don't write that down, please.
No, not writing. Hell no, not writing it down.
All right.
All right, well,
That's smart. I said Spark. A Spark plug.
Bill's Mafia will kill everybody.
Spark. A Spark
Bill's Mafia
plug,
will lose
bro.
it. Don't do that.
Changed their stadium, so they had to turn the lights kind of way.
Yeah.
So, this is an interesting team because a lot of the defense is getting older, right? You got the corners getting older. They drafted Elam. He was kind of up and down last year. The safeties are older. They brought Pryor back. But at this point in the draft, I don't think taking a safety with Branch being off the board, it's a little too high for me. We could use pass rush, but I don't see just a pass rush guy on the board. Miles Murphy, I like him. Lucas Van Ness, I like him. I really like Isaiah Foskey, but I don't think they fit the system that I've put in place in Buffalo. Then I don't want to take a corner. So then I look at offense. Could I use help as receiver? Yes, but the receivers on the board, I don't know if I can trust Josh Downs in the weather when it gets cold up here in Buffalo. Tight end, a little too rich for me. If I could trade back, I would trade back. But since I can't do any of those things, and I'm looking at what I have on the board, I'm going to do what I've always said. When you get a quarterback, you either have to give them weapons or you have to protect them. Buffalo's biggest weakness to me is offensive line, and it's particularly in the guard position. The 2 tackles we have on the board are pure tackles.
Okay.
They're not movers. They're going to play left tackle. Osiris Torrance is being handed a bad position because he plays a spot in the offensive line that nobody values. It's kind of like the running back. But in the SEC, He's another guy that did not give up a sack. Gave up, I believe they said 10 pass rushes were on him when they counted him as far as PFF. I don't take their grades, but when they talk about stats, PFF gives, like, especially offensive linemen, they give you stats that nobody else would give you. Osiris Torrance is the pick for Buffalo. You have to protect Josh Allen. You have to tell Josh Allen to stay in the pocket. Stop being Cam Newton. You see what Cam Newton is right now. We do not want your shoulders getting tore up. We don't want your legs getting tore up. Please stay in the pocket, deliver the football. I gave you a good weapon on the offensive line. It's not the excitement. It's not a spark plug. It's not a big time player, but it's somebody that when it comes down to this week 13 and we have to make that final drive and we not getting that pass rush in the A and B gap, it's because of a guy like him.
And I think that was the biggest issue with Buffalo down the stretch was that offensive line was getting banged up. Josh Allen was taking sacks, and it was clear as day against the Cincinnati Bengals in the divisional round. The Buffalo Bills line had no answers that Bengals front four. They had no answers. They had no answers for DJ Reader. They had no answers for Trey Hendrickson. Answers for Hill. They had no answers for anybody in that front, and I think that was a main concern. I know secondary is a little skimmish. I know the linebackers kind of took a big hit, especially the free agency, but offensive line was really the big key for Buffalo. And if you're a true football fan, you know that this is such a great pick when you say it comes down to the nitty-gritty division games late in the year. You need. So I have no problem with this offensive lineman from Florida. That's a great pick. Now, speaking about that team, though, they're on the clock. Brandon, this is your last pick, man. So like in that movie, it can count. It's your last one, so make it count.
All right. So, Cincinnati. Okay, I got two scenarios. I go offense. I go defense. It's kind of obvious. And I can go secondary. I give Joe Burrow another. And man, right now, oh man. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, I wish I was in your room.
He's going to do it.
I'll be itching for.
All right.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go
the suspense.
Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, Alabama.
Oh, wow. Wow. Running back, Alabama. Wow. Okay. Not saying that it would be a bad pick. It's just, again, Cincinnati knows they had no answers for Chris Jones in the championship game. And I'm saying that one lineman's going to do it, but they have to start looking that way. They lost two very good safeties in this free agency. It might be a little too rich, but you might have to look that route. I can see why Jahmyr Gibbs would probably be an option for the Bengals, especially with the whole Joe Mixon situation. But it better work out, or else we're going to have another year of poor offensive line play for the Cincinnati Bengals.
My only push. I like the pick. I clapped 3 times for it. I love the pick of Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe that he should be a first-round guy. I love Jahmyr Gibbs, the way he plays. He reminds me of Alvin Kamara. I wish I
Oh
would
no,
watch.
he is a
Well,
first round dude. It's just
So right, and I understand
no,
that.
he is a first round
My-
dude.
But my thing is, when I would be in that room, if I was in that room as a scout or as an offensive coordinator, I love that ability. But you said one thing that hits a lot. We need somebody that can block, right? Why not get Darnell Washington? He's the best pass blocking tight end, and he's a bona fide weapon. You might lose T. Higgins next year, so you will have your third target already in place. I think that's why I said I would be if I was the Bengals and I'm in that room, I would be yelling for Darnell Washington. I still love the pick with Jahmyr Gibbs, but Darnell Washington would be a bona fide stud offense.
So yeah, my phone started tripping. I'm sorry, but I went with Jahmyr Gibbs because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen with Joe Mixon.
True.
I have no idea what's happening with Joe Mixon. So if he gets suspended or
No
don't,
mouse.
we need somebody that can at least hold up the running back position until he comes back or until he gets his head right. Because that's more important. He could be mentally off because of what the fuck is going on. So for me, as much as I would love to go secondary with, a cornerback or something, I just feel like they need a true reliable weapon. And we saw last year when they couldn't run the ball, Joe Burrow couldn't do shit offensively. They couldn't do a damn thing offensively. But when they finally got the running game going, that offense took off. That's why I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs fits them perfectly. He comes from Alabama. He knows how it works. And plus, out of all of the situations, he does pass, catch, and he runs, something that Cincinnati clearly loved in Samaje Perine, who also is gone, who you probably need to replace very fast.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like
That's
it.
true.
I like it, man. All right. So this is my last pick of the night. The New Orleans Saints at team. So I'm gonna try to do you right, Brandon. All right. I'm gonna try to do you right, man. So I'm not worried about my offense. I should say. I'm not worried about my defense. I know my defense can get after it. Sure, they're getting a little groove. That they're the better units in the league. Offensively, God forbid Chris Olave. I know Alvin Kamara is going to get suspended. I have a new signal caller, and I got my offensive line is healthy. Pretty much, I got to make sure everything is right, and I still need more. I still need more help, in particular in one. It's the tight end room. Look, Alvin Kamara is going to get suspended, but getting Jamal Williams, he can carry that for a while. I truly believe right now, because Taysom Hill's getting older, you don't know if Juwan Johnson's going to be the guy. No, you've been waiting for that, but you don't know. So for pick 29, might be too rich. I think it'll be perfect for what the Saints are trying to do. So with the 29th pick, I'm gonna go Darnell Georgia. Yeah, it's another weapon for Carr. We all know Carr needs a lot of weapons. We all know Carr needs as much help as you can. What quarterback doesn't? And you get him an extra blocker, you get him a pass catcher, and he fits perfect for what the Saints are trying to do offensively. And I think this could be a really big help for a release for Chris Olave and Michael Thomas should they come back being healthy. And when Alvin Kamara comes back which we don't know if it's going to happen, we just do how many games it's going to be. Darnell Washington, tight end for the New Orleans Saints.
That's a great pick. It's a great pick. 6'7". So Anytime you get a 6'7" tight end, that shit works for me personally. It needs a blocker, which is a great damn thing because last year, because what we like to do is stretch runs. We like to do stretch fucking runs. I don't know why, but we do stretch runs too goddamn much. And we're gonna run Taysom Hill at some point. You need another blocker out there. So yeah, that fits perfectly. I'm cool with it.
I like the pick too. But
I'm gonna try. Yeah. Like I said, I think for others, I think it might be a little too rich, but I think the Saints cannot afford to let him slip away, basically.
And he comes from a
that's
winning
why I'm
pedigree.
going with this.
And he comes from a winning pedigree. So yeah,
So
take it.
It is what it is. So it is what it is. So here we go. Next up, well, looky, the man that likes chaos. Michael, your last pick, man, number 30. So just for everybody to know, Michael decided to screw the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, he chose
give
violence.
the Eagles Bijan Robinson. Yeah.
Chose violence.
Yeah, he tried to screw the rest of the NFL. Bijan Robinson, like, here, take him. Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way it goes, man. So Brandon Michael with the second last pick, the Eagles' second first round.
So
who is the next name that they're going to call on draft night?
So they have two stud cornerbacks already with Darius Slay and James Bradbury there. They're going to be there at least for one more year. So they might want to start thinking about restocking their cornerback room. So I got them taking Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback out of Mississippi State. The guy's a ball hawk.
Ooh,
3 years in Mississippi State, 14 picks.
Yes,
the guy knows how to find the end zone as well. He has a nose for the end zone.
Yeah.
I just think that would make sense with them, especially going with Slay, who's older, Bradbury, pretty much on a 1-year deal as well. So they need to be able to bring back or build up their cornerback room. So Emmanuel Forbes, to me, just seems right there.
Yeah, in that weird state right now where he could sneak into the first round or he's going to be picked up early in day 2. He's kind of like a drafts, but when you look at the tape, everything about him, it's great. And I think the one thing people are afraid of is his frame. Is it going to hold up for the aggressiveness of the NFL? And but I'm going to tell you, when you're picking your everybody, yeah, when you're when you're talking about a guy who, like you said, who's had 14 and majority of them have ended up in the end zone. The dude's a ball hawk, and you give this front four of the Philadelphia Eagles, you get him in that situation. Yeah, that's a quick bang for your buck right there. I like the pick. So it's gonna be interesting to see, does he enter day 1 late, or is he gonna be picked up early day 2? So I think that's the name of the game for him. It's where is he really gonna be slated at? So that being said, Jimmy, you started us off. You're going to send us off here with Kansas City. Second Super Bowl in 4 years. Eric Bieniemy is going to be a new dynamic. It's going to be a new dynamic. But what does Kansas City have to do to keep this ride going?
Well, I'm going to.
What can you give this Chief Pollock fan?
I'm gonna go ahead and state the obvious. We have the absolute worst quarterback in the NFL. I mean, Patrick Mahomes sucks so bad.
So
I mean,
terrible.
Like, the dude has already won. But
he's so terrible.
He won 3 Super Bowls. I don't even know how he did that. That like, nah. I don't like. Come on now. Like, what are we doing? This can we trade Patrick Mahomes for like a 5th round pick or something like that? Is that possible? Yeah, let's just get rid of that guy. Can we change his number? Give him number 84 or something, please. God. So yeah, I'm just so sick give Patrick Mahomes. Let's just draft Will Levis and call it a day. Now,
That's it, folks. Will Levis. Good night,
Good night.
everybody. I'll see you later.
All right.
We're done. See y'all later. Bye. Bye, everybody.
I think there'd literally be a riot at the draft if that shit happened. Like,
in Kansas City,
That would oh my God.
there would literally be a riot at the draft.
Now they would know how I feel. They would know how I felt.
so
Drafted a backup. It must be to draft a backup quarterback.
but in all seriousness, this is really a hard pick for Kansas City because if you really look at it on the board, you really still have some big time studs. You still have Kelly, cornerback. You have Dante Banks, cornerback. You have Miles Murphy, who's been considered to be a top. Well, in the beginning of the draft, he was considered to be a top. You have Lucas Van Ness, a guy that to me he's more of a scheme fit type guy. He doesn't fit everybody's scheme, but he's a decent player. And then you have one of my favorite pass rushers in B.J. Ojulari from LSU. They have Kansas City has some choices here, and this is a team. I like to put it like this: what kind of Christmas present do you give the richest man in the world? He already got all the Ferraris. He got the Lamborghinis. He has all the custom suits. He has all the watches. He has all the cologne. What can you give a rich man that he does not already have? Kansas City is full of riches, right? They can pretty much take whatever.
Hot ass mystery.
And I think the one thing that they could improve on that they may have missed out on last year, because I like the McDuffie pick, but I think they could have picked a better defensive lineman with that first pick. And I'm going to set the board off, and I'm going to give them Miles Murphy, defensive end from Clemson. I think they need pass rush. They need somebody else on the other side of Chris Jones. And Miles Murphy can also play inside. He's movable, and they like to move Chris Jones. If you put him outside on the same side as Chris Jones, who's blocking both of them? You can't double Chris Jones with a center and a guard. They try to do that without, having somebody on the outside of them. Now you put somebody on the outside of them. Now you can't triple team them. And Miles Murphy, he's another guy I compare to Jadeveon Clowney. He sets the edge. Like to me, on film, he's the best edge setter in this class. Him and Lucas Van Ness are the best edge setters in this class. You hardly see anybody outrun them because they're not doing their job. They're going to do what they're supposed to do on a defensive line. And another guy with good wingspan, good athleticism, and the type of defense that they want to run, they want to put pressure on the quarterback. He's able to open up holes for these guys, and I think it'll be a pool for the riches over there for Kansas City.
I'll tell you what, if Miles Murphy lands at 32, that's a God-given gift for Kansas City. God-given. And they need help. They do need help defensively. And we talked about this before. They do need help defensively. Miles Murphy falling a gift by the football gods. I think the weirdest thing about Miles Murphy throughout the whole process to me, if you talk to some groups, he's a top 10 player. If you talk to another group, he's middle of the pack. If you talk to others, he's late one, or he could slip into day 2. I don't know what's up with him. I don't know why he's all over the board in mock drafts. I've seen mock drafts where he's taken at 8. I've seen other mock drafts he's taken like at, 15, 19. And then there's ones where I take day 2, early day 2 with him. I don't know if maybe it was the down year, maybe it is the injury concerns. I don't know. But Miles Murphy's been one of the most interesting characters throughout the process because it's either you talk to some, he's going really early, or you talk to some, and he's going really late. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess it really does depend on what, we all know it depends on what Arizona really does at pick number 3. I truly, it depends what Arizona and Indy really do and how they want to move forward with this. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. So that is it. But before I do let you guys go, I did have one question for all of you. And we're going to start with you, Jimmy, and then we'll go to Michael. Player, Dave, that's going to fall to the second. And is going to make people regret it that they did not take him in the first round. Jimmy, you can go ahead first.
A guy that I think will fall to the second round that people will be upset that they didn't draft him in the first. That's an easy question for me. Hendon Hooker. It's simple. I don't think he's going.
Okay.
But if the NFL scouts and the NFL guys really believe that Will Levis is so good and he gets picked in the top of the draft, I don't think another quarterback is going to go in the first round. If these 4 quarterbacks go, I don't think another quarterback goes. And Hendon Hooker is going to make a lot of teams regret. If you look at the statistics, again, I'm not a big stat guy, but just looking at draft statistics, when QBs go, if you have 4 to 5 QBs go in the top 10, on average, only one of those guys make a Pro Bowl. Not all pro, a Pro Bowl. Only one of those guys make a Pro Bowl. People keep forgetting that Pat Mahomes was not a first overall pick. He got drafted after Mitch Trubisky. Deshaun Watson got drafted after Pat Mahomes and Trubisky. Josh Allen got drafted after Baker Mayfield. Lamar Jackson was the last pick in the first round. A lot of these guys, they go to good situations. Hendon Hooker, to me, his best situation, I would really want him to go to New Orleans. I would really love that man to go to New Orleans and sit behind Derek Carr.
I would want that too.
I know.
I would want that too. I personally would love that. If he falls that far, I mean, we got an early second round pick. If he falls, I mean, hey.
Yeah, that's my guy. And if I had another one, I would say if I had another guy, I think it would probably be Keelan Ringo, the cornerback from Georgia. Those are my 2.
Yeah. Okay. Guy day 2 that's going to get, if they were play out the way it did today, who do you think is going to be a player that's like, you guys are going to regret not taking me in the first?
Will McDonald.
Yeah.
That guy's a baller, man. He really is.
Yeah,
that
Will
guy,
McDonald.
he has such an explosive first step. But they have concerns about the kid coming out. So then I honestly think he's going to be a high day 2 pick, and it's gonna bite everyone else in the butt pretty much. Kid's a baller, straight up.
Okay. Yeah, straight up. What you, my man? Who's a day 2 prospect that should probably make scouts regret that they didn't go in the first round?
I think it just depends on where he falls and what team he goes to. But I think Brian Brees. I think if he ends up somewhere where like they need a defensive stopper,
okay,
he's gonna definitely be a very important defensive tackle for somebody. If he is like maybe Kansas City,
Okay.
where Chris
I like
Jones
that.
learned under him, like Jordan Davis did for Fletcher Cox, I think that'd be a scary ass defense. So I say Brian
That'll be
Brees,
different. That'll be different.
and I also
Um,
say Banks, the cornerback from Maryland. I think also he had another one that kind of if he falls in the right position
Deontay
with the right
Banks.
team, that would be just a dangerous team. Like if he goes to Cincinnati in the late second, that's a dangerous.
shit.
That's a dangerous situation.
Yeah,
'Cause we all know Eli
stuff,
Apple.
that was somebody else.
Because we
That
all
was
know
sucker.
Eli Apple can't cover a goddamn thing. We all know Eli Apple can't cover. Man, can't
I
even-
think for me, I think somebody that could fall into day 2 that probably deserves to go day 1. Nobody's talking about it. I really like that linebacker from Iowa, Jack Campbell. You know, he's a traditional NFL middle linebacker. You know, he's exactly Sanders. And I like them both. And the fact that we didn't have one linebacker, like we didn't have either of those guys in the first, somebody's going to get a good middle linebacker. And that's probably going to be your anchor middle linebacker for at least the next 8 to 12 years. So that would be pretty. I do expect them to go early in the second, should they not go in the first. It's Drew Sanders or Jack Campbell. Just because Jack Campbell is a traditional middle linebacker, NFL middle linebacker, and Drew Sanders is the pretty much, pass rusher, can cover, side like the sideline. It's just one of those situations. Only one of these. There's only 31 picks this year. Maybe if there was 32, maybe one of those guys does end up in a first round. Unfortunately, there's only 31. And I think one of those 2 guys is going to be really good, and they're going to make a lot of people regret that they didn't take them in the first round. So that's the way I look at it. With Jack Kemp or Drew Sanders, both of those guys. But that's it, man. That is. Go ahead, Brandon. That's something.
I think I want this team to draft this person, and if they get him, I think their offense will just be just as special as ever. I want Miami to draft the kid from Iowa, the tight end. I think that shit I don't know if Tua is gonna be upright to do it, but if he gets that kid from Iowa with that offense already, that shit that's just scary. That's just dangerous.
I got one question.
It is a scary thought.
This is a question I brought up to a couple of people. If you could make any first round trade, whether it's up or down, right? What team would you want to be that team to move up and down? And how would that trade, change your draft board?
I say Washington.
If I thought Washington too, but honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm Indy or and I know the quarterback, I know you're in a tight spot. No, you're probably not going to be any good this year. I mean, for God's sakes, there was a rumor that you were already willing to trade Jonathan Taylor away. So that's really, it's a cat let out of the bag type of situation. I would really, if I'm Indy, I would actually trade down to get as much draft capital as you can. So that way, whoever is you guys are well prepared to set them up for success.
I'd take a team that's not even in the first round. I'd say the Rams. I'd say the Rams. And why I know where I'm going with that? Like I would trade Aaron Donald and get as much as I can get for him. I'll trade Aaron Donald right the fuck now and get as much as I can get for him. If I was the Rams, because that's the only tradable piece you have. I mean, yeah, you can trade Cooper Kupp, but nobody gonna really trade you like they would trade you for Aaron Donald. That's a different player. He changes your defense immediately in your franchise. So if I was the Rams, I would trade Aaron Donald. These should has be in the first round. I know you get the first pick. You might get in the first round. You might actually get like in the top 10 if somebody said Aaron Donald's on the trading block. If you're Atlanta, when you not call him, you're Chicago, somebody like when you not call the Rams and see if that's true, I would.
Well, why not Philly? I mean, why not Philly? I mean, Mike.
No, we're not doing Philly. See, we're not doing that. No. We're not doing Philly. No. We're not doing Philly. No. I'm not dealing with Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, and Aaron fucking Donald. That is not fair to the NFL. That is not goddamn fair. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. If Bijan Robinson comes, hell no, we good. Nope. Nope.
There's one team I think that might be depending on how on the way the board falls. If they have whether it's Levis, whether it's Richardson still available at 10, I could see Philly trading down with Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay going up and getting their quarterback because they don't. Baker ain't nothing. Baker's nothing. The second rounder that they got to Kyle Trask. No, he ain't nothing. If they are able to jump ahead of Tennessee with the rumors of Tennessee possibly getting one of those quarterbacks too, I could see Tampa jumping up to 10. With everyone knows that Philly loves to trade down and accumulate future first rounders anyway. I'm sure they would do something like that.
I would trade, but I'm not taking Tampa Bay's first round pick. I want Devin White.
He's on the block.
I want Devin White.
Well, you over here talking about you don't want to set up Philly so like super studded, and you want to give him Devin White.
That's different. Offensively, they don't need no damn help. Defensively,
you want to give him that man?
Defensively, that's a way different conversation.
No. I can tell you this much. With how the draft, let's just say now, this is obviously entertainment purposes. Now, how many of you really do believe Jalen Carter is going to go at 4? Not.
Yeah.
But does happen, then we're talking about a whole different night. I mean, we're talking not to say Jalen deserved to go 3 or 4 because he clearly does. All right, he's that good. It's just if it were to fall that way, then we're going to be having a way different conversation, a way different night. We're all expecting Thursday. So I don't know. I'm just glad here. It's an exciting and
Will Anderson don't change the board.
I don't know.
Yeah, what I think I'm gonna be honest. After if the Cardinals don't trade out the third position, they're going Will Anderson. It really starts at 4 because we really don't know what the fuck the Colts are gonna do. They can say quarterback, but let's be real. Are they really gonna take a quarterback? hey, I don't know. I don't know if Jim Irsay is really going to take a goddamn quarterback. I don't know. He might literally say, we might need to just get Jalen Carter. He really might say that. Because he's looking at the AFC South, and he's like, well, we could take a flyer on somebody this year, but our defense will be ready for next year, and we could get a quarterback next year.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. I've always said that I think the draft really starts at 3. But with the rumors that's been going around, and I really honestly think that this rumor came out was to make that number 3 pick not as, as worthy as number 2, basically, right? The reason why I say that is because Carolina gave up a king's ransom, right, to go up to 1, as they should, to go up to number 1. But with the Texans coming out and basically saying well, I'm not going to say the Texans said that. With the media coming out and saying that the Texans are not going to take a quarterback at 2, kind of devalue that number 3 pick, right? Because now it's like, okay, well, why move to 3 when I can move to 2? And I can guarantee that I get either CJ or Bryce, whichever one Carolina doesn't pick, right? And that's where I say I kind of devalues it, because now people are questioning Will Anderson, is he a every down player? They're saying, okay, well, Houston does this all the time. They drafted Mario Williams over Reggie Bush and them. They drafted Jadeveon Clowney over everybody, over Blake Bortles and old boy that played with the Raiders, Khalil Mack. You know, so the media is trying to spin this. And I really think, like I said, I really think that the draft starts at 3. And if it is true that this rumor came out that the Colts have called the Texans and offered them, you know, a steep package, I would kind of be, as a Texans fan, I would be pissed off. But at the same time, if you're telling me I'm going to get DeForest Buckner and I'm going to get 2 future first round picks, I can't really knock Nick Caserio for taking that. You know what I'm saying? To me personally, if I'm the GM, I'm not doing it because I'm not going to risk my job like that. But as again, like I said, I really think the draft starts at 3. In my eyes, in my opinion, is quarterback, and then 3, 4, 5 is kind of a toss-up. I don't know. The rumor that I've seen is that the Colts are the only team besides the Raiders that brought in C.J. Stroud twice. They brought in C.J. Stroud twice, which, you know, that's crazy. Why you think that? How in the world they would be able to do that? And then the Colts brought in Anthony Richardson twice. They only talked to Will Levis once. So, you know, you kind of take that news with a grain of salt. But why would you want to talk to those 2 players twice? Out of all the players, you didn't even talk to Bryce. You only talked to Anthony Richardson and Anthony Richardson and the other guy twice. You know, so
CJ.
I don't know. Yeah, CJ. And again,
yeah,
I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think really what it is.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all are really considering trading the 3 too. I've heard offers saying that the Raiders are talking about trading the 3.
There's talks. I don't know if they'll actually do it though. I don't think so. I think Ziegler is really so dialed in with the offense that he already gave Josh. I think he wants to build the defense. I think that's what his goal is, because he knows defense was not it was trash. This is the nicest way of putting it you can get. But I will say this. I have heard that too. I don't now. Does it happen? Right now, I'm leaning towards the no side. So I'm going to say no side. But like I said, I think this is what's going to be interesting. I'm not buying into it either that the Texans, I'm buying into it that, yeah, I'm sure you love Will Anderson. But you're not going to sit here and tell me you're going to go another year of David Mills, are you? Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like David Mills. He's a serviceable quarterback, but the point is to win championships, and you need that signal caller. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But
like how the media is trying to find everything wrong with C.J. Stroud, and this is what they do. We've talked about this before. That they're going to try to find everything wrong with a particular quarterback that they just don't like, or if you're trying to boost up other quarterbacks. But to me, C.J. Stroud is the second best quarterback on the board. I don't give a fuck what you say. If you don't take him, he's going to make you pay for that shit for the next 10 years. Let's get that shit out the way. I don't care how people want to slice it or dice it. But I don't. I think
Y'all saw that
what
that Nick Bosa. Y'all saw that Nick Bosa statement, right? When he talked to the general manager of Arizona, he goes, "You can take the short quarterback if you want to, but if you pass up on me and I go to San Francisco, I'm going to make your life hell for the next 10 years." And safe to say that, yeah, he made his life. He's making his life. That's why he's no longer the general manager.
I feel like a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people are trying to find reasons to not like CJ Stroud. Now I'm hearing analysts who see, like I said, 2 weeks ago, CJ Stroud was the number one fucking quarterback. He was going to Carolina. Now there's something wrong with CJ fucking Stroud. Like, yeah, I don't understand your logic. I'm trying to figure that logic out. Like, because it's like 2 weeks ago, he was the number one quarterback. He was going to Carolina. And now you're like, well, there's something wrong with him. And we don't like him. And he's going down on the board. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't understand that. I don't understand the logic behind trying to tear him down because eventually he's going to get picked. I haven't heard a motherfucker yet say he's not getting picked in the first round.
Right.
You're just saying he's not getting picked by these first two teams. Okay, cool. Wherever he lands, he's going to make you pay for it. I don't give a shit where he lands. He's going to land somewhere, and he's going to make you pay for it. Why not it be your fucking team and just kill all the bullshit? It's just so stupid. I don't understand the idea. Like I said, when we did the picks a couple days ago.
It's
like
one
I said,
of those
I've never.
I think it's one of those things, and it happens every year. There's more smoke than there is actual fire. I'm not buying it into one bit. I think it's going to be quarterback as well. And truly, I really do believe the draft does start at 3. If nobody trades up, then obviously it's going to be Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. And then that's really where Indy has to make the choice. Do they really want to go with the best player left, or do they want to risk it on a project? So it really does depend.
I'm gonna say this. I feel like this is the same shit people pull with Lamar Jackson. The man won a Heisman in college, and you were like, I don't know if he could be a quarterback in the NFL. And now we're literally sitting here saying that same shit when he's literally won an MVP in the NFL and clearly is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But yet, you're going to continue to say, I don't think he could be a quarterback in the NFL. Get the fuck out of here. You said the same shit with Jalen Hurts. Now you're saying the same shit about CJ Stroud. How many times you got to say that shit before you realize, no, they're just really fucking good. Just because you don't want to, just because you don't like it, they're going to prove you fucking wrong every time. It might take them a year. It might take them 2. But they're going to prove you fucking wrong. Just take the goddamn quarterback. Why are we making this hard? Just take him.
So
and I think that's what it is.
I will say this, right? So I have a couple of mentors. I can't use his name because he just he's an older guy. But he's helped me, with coaching quarterbacks, and when I had my little camp down here in Houston, he showed up a couple of times. And the good thing is he used to coach for the Denver Broncos, and he won a ring with Peyton Manning was there. I got the chance to meet him when my dad got inducted to the Hall of Fame over here in Houston for the High School Hall of Fame and the College Football Hall of Fame. So it was, I met a lot of good people. Then I was going to tell Juan, I meant to tell him this last time. My dad's best friend was Clifford Branch. And Clifford Branch passed away on my dad's birthday, which was kind of ironic or whatever. And the last conversation I had with Cliff was about how much Al Davis loved his players, right? Like, once you're a Raider, you're always a Raider. He didn't care if you went to 38 teams, you always would be a Raider. And not a lot of people take that for granted. They take that for granted, right? That he take care of his players, and Cliff was one of those guys, right? But I said all that to say this. My mentor, he told me, he said, the thing that people have caught a hold to with CJ is the offensive system. And if you put 2 to 2 together, the reason why these teams that like him brought him in is probably because of knowledge retained. So what happens is when when you have this top 30 visit with a lot of these players, they're really trying to get the IQ, the knowledge of the football, right? Mm-hmm. Especially with the quarterbacks. So possibly what happened was this is not a true statement, but he said he's seen this before. He's been in the room, of course, that a team will give this quarterback or this prospect a playbook, maybe 3-4 pages of a playbook, right? And then the next time they bring them in, they want them to spit out everything that they know, especially if you're a quarterback. And maybe the system that he ran is an issue with some of the people that pick in the top 4 or 5 with CJ. He's saying just by putting 2 to 2 together, because we know Ryan Day runs a number system, which some of the viewers don't know. The number system is kind of like when you call a play call, the receivers run a number route, right? Whatever that route is. In the NFL, most of that verbiage is words. Okay, so when if you really listen to people when they talked about Bill O'Brien, they said, going to New England, if you hear Chad Johnson always said it was like learning French when he went to New England. That's because D is an actual word to something in their playbook, right? Cope could be a word in the playbook that, makes the receiver do something or changes the protection of the lineman or whatever, right? That might be a problem. Secondly, is that he's saying that if you look at the tape, he doesn't make adjustments on his own. It comes from the sideline. So a lot of the scouts are wondering, hey, can this guy actually make these adjustments and call out these blitzes? And without him knowing the playbook or being able to, shoot back that information to him, that's a big issue. Coming from a guy that was in Houston and listening to a lot of guys where they talk about Deshaun Watson, when Deshaun got here, they said Deshaun knew the whole playbook back and forward more than Tom Savage did. Supposedly, Bill O'Brien came on the podium and said, I absolutely am shocked that what Deshaun knows when they was going into preseason. So is that an issue? It could be. Do we know it's an issue? We're just speculating. But from what he's telling me, and this is the guy that was in the NFL, you take it for a grain of salt. But I really think that's probably, when he told me that, I think that's probably what's going on. I really do. I don't think it has nothing to do with the Wonderlic or that CS2 test or whatever the case.
Yeah, whatever. Yes, those things.
Yeah.
I think it's playbook.
It could be that, absolutely. I don't know. I think there's just so many dynamics to this draft on how it could play out that all we're doing is speculating. That's what us three, Michael, who had to unfortunately go, that's what we do. We just speculate on who we think on just watching film. This is the one. This is where we think they best fit for this team. Does it always work out that way? Hell no. Hell no, it never works out that way. Never works out that way.
I also feel like that if that is the case, then that's the same thing they felt with Justin Fields.
Exactly.
So I guess what it is, it really, at this point, remember, your talent is what got you to the NFL. At this point, it's up to you if you want to get better as a person and as a player. Because remember, the NFL, it's a different animal. It's a different world, man. It's different than high school. It's different than college. These are grown men. These are professionals. These are men that's trying to feed their families. It's a different world. And, it really depends on how much better. Because remember, you got there based on your talent in college and what you did. At that point, it's can you expand on that to make yourself a better player? So, like I said, I'm excited. It's 4 days away. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a very exciting time. I know everybody's chomping on the bit or who it's going to be. Is it going to be Bryce Young? Is it going to be CJ Stroud? Or is Carolina going to go off the wall here? We don't know. Brandon, when we first did the episode, put Anthony Richardson at number 1. And we don't know. It could happen. We still don't know. And I think that's what's exciting about this draft is we know it's a quarterback. We just don't know which one yet. We could speculate, but we're not in those rooms. So it's going to be exciting. So I can't wait.
And I will say this about the Anthony Richardson thing. Anthony Richardson has the highest ceiling as far as all of them. To me, Anthony Richardson, if he works at it the way that everybody believes he will, I think he could be fighting between that 1, 2, 3 QB. You know, he could be in that Joe Burrow, Josh Allen range as far as like the best QB in the NFL. I don't necessarily think Bryce or CJ is that, but as the prospects right now, Bryce is 1, CJ is 2 in my book. But Anthony Richardson, if he hits that ceiling, he has that potential to be one of the best that we've ever seen.
That's true. And I think that's going to be, I think that's the exciting part. Is to see, because what we're doing is, this is for now. We're going to revisit this in 3 years, when it's all and done. And I think that's the exciting part of this thing. So, but that's going to do
I told you Patrick Stan was going to be better than Jesse Horn.
Sometimes it just works out that way. But other than that, I want to thank both of you guys for joining me this year. It was a lot of fun. It's a shame that it's over, but eventually, we will be back next year. Brandon, thank you so much for doing every single episode with me. I know it's not easy, and I know it's a bit of a grind, but we got through it, man. We got through it. Now we get to enjoy it. Jimmy, thank you so much for being part of this. Michael had to leave, but I want to thank him for being such a big supporter and everything. I want to thank everybody that tuned in, whether it was here on YouTube or Instagram Live. I want you all to have a beautiful Sunday, the remainder of your Sunday. Enjoy the draft. Good luck to your guys' teams. And, we'll see how it goes. Until then, everybody, take care. Please be safe. I'm out.